Welcome to another week of From the Press Box on FridayNightOhio.com. I'm Chris Beaven.
I'm Chris Easterling.
We're going to take a look at the big games ahead in Week 2 and also look back at Week 1 of the high school football season. I think in looking back, Chris, you got to talk about the Big Five in the county, and all of them looked like heavyweights last week.
Absolutely. Hoover, Massillon, Louisville, GlenOak, and McKinley, all kind of everybody's top 5 in the county coming into the season, and all 5 of them have very impressive wins last week.
Nobody came within 3 touchdowns of any of those 5 teams, and that sets up what should be a great week this week with 4 of the 5 playing against each other.
This for an early season week. This is an absolute pivotal week for all 5 of those teams.
We'll start with the GlenOak Massillon game that I know you're going to be seeing over at Paul Brown Tiger Stadium. Both teams looked good in their openers, but I think they have concerns.
Yeah, I think you start on Massillon's side of it. One thing they struggled with during the Buchtel game was containing Steve Parker, Buchtel's quarterback, and Brandon Martin has that same type of dual threat ability. So Massillon really, if they want to beat GlenOak, which is really their only big hurdle in the first 5 games, they're going to have to contain Martin.
And then they have to deal with Briante Dunn, the big sophomore tailback, who also had a nice opening. For Massillon's offense, Partridge has gotten out of the gates well.
Partridge looks like about as good a passer as there is in the county, and that's going to bode well for Massillon because he kind of holds the key to their whole season.
Over in Louisville is another big game. It's going to be televised throughout the state on Fox Sports, and that's Louisville and North Canton Hoover. And there, Erick Howard, Mr. Football, is going to be the center of attention as Louisville has shut him down each of the last 2 times they've played. 79 total yards in those 2 games. Both Louisville wins. That's
going to be absolutely key because as Howard goes, Hoover goes, and they're chomping at the bit to get back at Louisville, I should say. And especially Eric, he wants to have a big game against a team that's been an absolute pain in his side.
What should help Hoover this time around, though, is the passing game is far more advanced with Brett Tuladzetsky in his second year as a starting quarterback, and I think that will help open up things some. But on the other end, Bob Swigert, a great athlete. This will be his second start at quarterback. He did a nice job in the opener, so there should be a lot of talent on the field, and that should be a great game. And those games are both Thursday night. Saturday night, the big game is going to be McKinley when they host Huber Hts Wayne and the number 1 rated junior quarterback in the state of Ohio.
Braxton Miller is one of the great talents, not just in Ohio, but all over the nation at that position, and just a kid that if McKinley has any hopes of winning that football game, they're going to have to contain it. And it starts with that defense, and if there's any part of that McKinley team that's got that type of ability, it's the defense with guys like Steve Miller.
There's some big-time talent on that defensive side of the ball, and for Miller, Jawan Snow, Jamon McLean, those guys are going to get a chance to really show themselves against a great quarterback and can really help their own stock. On the other side of the ball, I think a key will be, will McKinley be able to drive the football? They didn't have to do that in the opener. That was a glorified scrimmage, the way they were able to just run through East Tech, a lot of short field drives. They need to probably put together 2 or 3 drives in this game if they're going to be able to beat a very good team that went to the playoffs last year.
That was a problem with them last year, and if they can't show that they can move the football, take 6, 7, 8 plays to get the ball into the down the field and into the end zone, it's going to be problems down the road. I mean, this game down the road with Hoover, GlenOak, and Massillon, all of those teams could make McKinley very one-dimensional and have to win those low-scoring affairs in all 3 of those teams. I don't know if you can do that.
Well, this is the week where things should heat up around Stark County for high school football with those big games. And you make sure to tune into FridayNightOhio.com throughout this week and the season for more on these games and other games throughout the season, as it should be a great year of football in Stark County. For FridayNightOhio.com, I'm Chris Beaven.
And I'm Chris Easterling.